This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, I am cameoed in 9 James Balsamo movies. And my guest I discovered is in at least a couple that I'm involved with. And he reached out to me late last year when I wasn't able to do this. And now, through uh, um, a lot of going back and forth, we finally got this guy scheduled. Folks, I give you actor Derek Webb. How do you do, Derek?
Not bad. How about you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Glad that we could finally connect. But I was gonna say before we get to Hollywood Werewolf and your other projects, please give me some of your background. I know you're heavily into physical fitness and whatnot.
Yeah. I started off pretty much a small young town kid. I came from a little country town, Epping, right in Epping, New Hampshire, so which is a very small, live free or die state. And
Uh-huh.
from there, as a 15, 16-year-old kid, I got involved in the health and fitness industry because I started lifting weights when I was 15, and I started in honestly what started off in the concrete slab for my garage with what was a old broken down set of dumbbells and a couple barbells turned into pretty much changing my life to becoming this actor, being involved with you guys in the entertainment industry and doing great things phenomenally for myself and my others and my significant other and my family. And it pretty much what kicked it off was honestly my fitness and bodybuilding career and doing things on that level. And then from there, it just spun off and took off. But that's really what got the set to go going. Is I just came from a small little background country town, small quiet little country state, and I started off as a nobody. I was pretty much back in school. I was considered the clown. Everyone's like, "Oh, Derek's being called to the main office again, the blue chair, Derek, the blue chair." And at one point, my principal even, "Mr. Webb, you know something?" I'm like, "What's that?" He goes, "I have about over 1,000 students in this school, and I think I see you about 12 to 15 times in one day." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So yeah, as you can say, not that I should be bragging. Not, and by the way, for the kids listening at home, please do not take that advice. Please, I urge you not listen to that. But anyway, I grew up in Mounts, and I had my time, a fair share of fun under the sun, and what turned out to be like this little class clown, troublemaking student to then this athletic, wanted to work out every day kid to then this bodybuilder to this, adult playgirl entertainment, magazine star to then becoming into Hollywood entertainment film industry. It definitely, I've been one Lego block to another, that's for sure. And it's quite tremendous to see what can happen overnight with just a little bit of hard work and dedication and effort.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I've been a film critic since 1996, and from there I didn't start at the radio station CHSR until 2005 when my best friend had made reference to them, and so I called them, and they did not have a film critic. So I went down and I started doing a show down there, and then 10 years later, in 2015, I ended up with through a former acquaintance an interview with Tommy Wiseau from The Room, and it was like, who else can I do this with, you know? And so you're now number 411 I've interviewed, and here we are, March.
Woo!
Here we are, March 22nd, 2021, and I'm still going. COVID put a little bit of a hiccup in it last. I did 30 interviews last year, and then COVID shut everything down. And I work as an essential worker, as a cleaner, and so I'm able to at least have a job. But I miss doing this, and I miss traveling to the conventions and stuff like that. So I was like, finally, one of my guests had said, if she can do Zoom, I could do Zoom, and turns out she was right. So here I am. But I'm going to tell you, I've had James Balsamo on here a couple times, and I remember I've interviewed him twice. I interviewed him through Genevieve Rossi, and
Yeah.
when one night I usually work overnights, and I got this email message at 4 in the morning when I was having my lunch. It was James Balsamo, and I knew he'd be up. He was 4 hours behind me, and he asked me if I would film my own death scene for Cool as Hell 2.
Oh,
And
there you go. Congratulations.
well, I'm not an actor, but I've also seen his movies and realized, I don't have to be an Academy Award winning actor to be part of one of his films. His films are just, I think he's having fun. He's very creative, and he's got a lot of ideas. So I was honored. So I
Yes.
called, so I called him up and I asked, what's behind my death scene? And
Bunch of blood and guts, man.
well, I didn't have either of that. I got my idea from watching Linnea Quigley's bit part in the film, so I kind of
Okay.
weighed in off that. But I did it. I shot it, and I sent it to him, and he spliced it in. And then he comes back and he asked me to film 2 scenes for It Wants Blood. And he said one of them is going to be watched on a television by Eric Roberts. And I'm like, I can't turn that down.
Yeah, you're like, come on now.
So I did that. And from there, I've done, let me see, I've done Catch of the Day 2. And
Yeah.
I've done Hollywood Werewolf, which you're part of. I'm in
Yeah,
that.
you and I are on the same team there. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm in Killer Waves 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm in one he hasn't started filming yet called Nightmare Party Twerk of Terror, which he hasn't even got listed yet, but it's one I shot my scene for, so I went on that one just based on the title. And
It sounded like a kicker, man.
yeah, and I did I Spill Your Guts too. I
Okay.
did Balsamo Beach, and the last one I did was Bite School 2. He reached out to me for Alien Nation or whatever that one he was doing, but
Alien Danger. Yep.
yeah, and I would like to do it, but the thing is, financially, I'm kind of in a position where I've got to turn people down until things are like I'm not in a financial place where I can do that because I do the podcast as a passion thing. I don't get
As
paid
a,
to do this, so
yeah, it's like a hobby, like fat.
mhm,
It's like a livelihood kind of situation. Yeah, I get you.
yeah. So I'm not saying I won't do another Balsamo movie. I certainly plan to. It's just right now it's on the shelf. So but I've got 9 cameos in his movie, so I'm satisfied with that, and I'll do more when I'm able to, you know?
Yeah, and that's a pretty good strong number when you got 9, especially in that situation. And like you said, financially, it becomes a rough ride because of some of these things. Like you said, it comes with a cost, the perks, and all that,
Yeah.
and that money adds up, especially when you got other bills and other finance, especially what's going on in the economy today, the struggle everyone's in. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm kind of waiting on that right now, and I'm just keeping everything paid up and paid off and stay out of debt, which I've been able to do. So
That's
yeah,
always the bonus. When you can do that, you know you're doing something right. You know.
yeah. So I'll come back to James whenever I'm able to, I guess, you know.
Yeah, James is a funny, decent guy. I've done some business with him. So I mean, the couple of films I've done working on him with, which is you're a part of Hollywood Werewolf, and the other one there, 14 Ghost. He does have some pretty good, interesting films, that's for sure, and good guy to work with. I've done business with him on a few occasions, and what little bit of time I've got to talk with him and know with him and what time I've worked with him already, he's definitely a phenomenal guy. He's definitely a great man.
Yeah. Well, I'm not involved with 14 Ghosts, but I am involved with Hollywood Werewolf. He's got a lot of ideas. That's one of the things I like about James is his mind does not stop. He's
Open and expanded, yeah.
Yep. I mean, he's done zombies, he's done vampires, he's done werewolves, he's done sea creatures, he's done you name it, James has done it. And he has this great ability of going to these conventions and getting these name performers in the genre to be part of these films. And it's kind of interesting having my name on there credited with the likes of Linnea Quigley and Jake the Snake Roberts and people like that. And Eric Roberts, of course.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting, so I'll take it. I'll be
Yeah, like
frank.
phenomenal. So
Yeah. I've seen 3 of the Balsamo movies I've been part of so far. And my favorite of the 3 so far is It Wants Blood, which Joe Castro does an interesting creature effect on, but it was interesting to see me on a television being viewed by Eric Roberts. Cool as Hell 2 and Catch of the Day 2 I've seen. And
oh yeah.
yeah, it was fun to see me in those. I haven't seen the other 6, but he's got a lot of them listed as completed, so I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna see those.
Hopefully sooner than later, right?
Well, I'm a Blu-ray guy, and I told James, I said, you got to get your stuff on Blu-ray, I prefer Blu-ray over just a DVD if I can help it, but I don't
I
know.
get it.
Yeah. I don't
That's
remember
exactly.
I don't remember my scene in Hollywood Werewolf. I've done so many of
Oh
them. They're
no.
just yeah. So what is your scene in it? Do you remember?
Yeah, I actually played Andy Dick, who's actually the one of the comedian main star actors of the film, which I'm sure, Andy Dick, that we starred
Mm-hmm.
alongside with.
Um,
He
yeah, he was a voice in Hoodwinked.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was the ex-chauffeur to him, his limo driver, and
Mm-hmm.
pretty much I played the role of the guy who just had to pretty much warn these people that, look, this is what he's about. He eats these people alive. He does this, he does that. So I played kind of an interesting different role. I played the ex-chauffeur dash, the guy that tries to keep everyone safe and warns the people of the outcome of Andy Dick and who he is as a character,
So you
if that
got
makes
to
sense.
you got to be right on set there with James and Andy, huh?
No, I actually, unfortunately, I wasn't able to be on set. I spoke to them about the film. I was able to discuss things with them, but I wasn't able to be right on stage on set because of just with everything going on with the pandemic and all that, a lot of that craziness out west. So I just did my virtual. It was a cameo right there, which they pretty much filtered in through the green screen effect and did their thing right on through all that process. But yeah, no, unfortunately, that is something I really would have loved to have been though. It
Oh,
would have been
okay.
awesome. Andy Dick was definitely he's an amazing actor, amazing guy to work with, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is interesting. I know you said you were playing his chauffeur?
His ex-chauffeur.
Ex-chauffeur. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, perfect. So what's it been like working? How did you come across James?
Honestly, kind of a weird story. What once again going back to my fitness thing, it kind of what opened the door for me was the fitness thing because I started developing a lot of my own bodybuilding programs and things, and I did some articles for some fitness magazines and online fitness, advertisings, and then my fitness career kind of took off to another level. And when that happened, I got invited onto some shows to do some interviews about working on because I'm in the process right now. I'm actually working on my own fitness DVD project. I'm working on some workout programs I'm planning on designing, and through some people I know out in LA and Hollywood. And when I'm doing that, I got invited onto LA Talk Radio with the Jennifer. I'm not sure if you know the Jennifer DeVoe from LA Hollywood Talk Radio Network.
I'm
And
familiar with LA
ironically, it was
Talk
through her
Radio.
show after yeah, it was through her show after being on live air doing the interview. She, she goes, after the air interview, I was like, oh, she goes, I have a couple of friends that, you seem like a good character that might be in lineup for a good, maybe upcoming film. And one of my friends, his name's James Balsamo. And I
Mm-hmm.
think you should, affiliate, contact him, go connect. I said, okay. So I connected up with James and we bumped heads, reached not on a bad note, but, we talked and communicated a little bit. And he goes, yeah, you seem like a decent guy. How about, we work something, I don't know, would you be interested in doing an upcoming Andy Dick film I got going on? And I said, well, what are you talking about? And he throws, oh, I got Hollywood Werewolves coming out. And I needed to fill in some extra casting roles and some cameo roles. And I didn't know if
Mm-hmm.
you'd be interested. And I said, oh, most definitely. And said, well, let me see what I got. Let me see if I can fit you in somewhere. And we went from there. And one thing led to another, and it just he's like, yeah, I got you a perfect spot, and you can be, Andy Dick's ex-chauffeur, I guess. So from there, that's where it all led up, and we met and started talking. It was through this girl at LA Talk Radio who was friends with James. As I met him through another friend. Pretty much I met him through her as an acquaintance, and we started talking about it, and he's like, yeah, definitely, let me get you the script. I'll send out the script and we'll see, go from there. And he said, and that's how it all kicked off. And from there on, it was like, all right, you did good. And he liked how I presented myself, my scene for Hollywood Werewolf. And then the idea came up, 14 Ghost he was working on. So he goes, I got another film, 14 Ghost, which actually stars in that movie. There's some great main feature film stars, including the gentleman who played from the hit Adult Swim cartoon series, Aqua Teen, the guy
Yes.
that plays the guy that plays Frylock, who's actually ironically is in that film itself, 14 Ghosts. He goes, I got all these guys in this film. It's going to be a great film, and I think you'd be a good role in it. I was, was wondering if you'd be interested. I said, okay. And then that's when I jumped aboard the cast of 14 Ghost. And so, I mean, it definitely, that's really where it spun off with me and James was through Jennifer Muse over at LA Talk Radio Network. And I'm thankful that I met him because it did open them, because through my fitness career, which led me to LA Talk Radio, which then led me to, James Balsamo, which then opened up a bunch of other doors for me that, it definitely, it seemed like it was just one thing that led to another, boom, 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 boom. And then all these doors started opening and all these opportunities. And it was like, wow, what the hell, So, I'm definitely grateful and thankful for the most part for that. And for the opportunities that so far I've been given, not only with James, but many other great, tremendous film casting, directors. And I'm working closely right now too. I played the voiceover of a cop in the upcoming film. It's Vault's Lust for Revenge, which is going to be a horror film, and that's with the film director is Benjamin Hazani. I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah, he reached out to me as well, and I made a small donation, but I couldn't do much with it. And that was about it. I have interviewed Sandy Johnson a couple of times from Halloween, and
Oh yeah,
she's involved in that picture. And so I made a small donation, not much because I couldn't. But if I can't pitch into a James Balsamo film, then I got to hold back. But I made a small donation, and I think there's a special thanks for me or something. But Sandy is in it, and Sandy was wonderful, and she did the doubt for her face challenges for me, and so I I was more than honored to attached to a project that she was in. So yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and I was actually going to say that Sandy Johnson, as you just mentioned from the famed known Michael Myers, the John Carpenter film series, there, she's going to be involved in the film, and it's been an honor. Actually, I've gotten to know Sandy personally. I talked to her actually a lot from time to time, and
Mm-hmm.
she's a really phenomenal woman. She's a great actress, a great person, and being able to know her now personally on a personal level and be able to actually work with her on this film, it's been phenomenal. And it's just working, like I said, just all these doors and opportunities that had arose for me and came up after just getting to know a few people and stepping into the spotlight and getting my feet a little wet in the ocean, you could say. And just amazingly, what, like I said, going back to what blows my mind is to think, wow, all this started off as a 15-year-old lifting a few broken down dumbbells in a garage.
Mm-hmm.
And who's to think, like, look back on it, if anyone would have told me, like, oh, this is going to kick off this, and you're going to start, working on a fitness DVD, you're going to involved in a couple of these films, you're going to start getting to know people from some phenomenal film actors and actresses. And I mean, I would have looked at you and laughed and said, dude, I'm just a troublemaker in middle school. He can't even find his way through life. It ain't going to happen. But the fact that I'm sitting here, it's happening, doing this interview today, it is amazing. It's a phenomenal thing, that's for sure. And I did, like I said, Sandy Johnson, she's a great woman, and I'm pleasured to be working with her. It's an awesome, phenomenal thing. And I'm very excited to have her on the team for that film. And I have Project Valentina, which is another film I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually working on with director John Richardson.
Okay.
That's another film I'm casted in. I'm one of the henchmen in that film. So that should be an interesting film.
Okay. Who's all in this besides yourself?
John Richardson is the film director. There's myself. There's a bunch of other really well-known actors and actresses. I can't remember the names off the top because there's so many, but honestly, but he has quite the film going with that right now. He has a lot of great he has a really well-known popular model, a couple of the female models who are well-known in that film actually, that play pretty much undercover kind of, I guess you could say, like agents in the film. And he has a good cast together for it, that's for sure. But I wish I could. Unfortunately, the way my brain works, honest to God, I try to remember names of people with all these films I'm involved in, but it's hard. Actually, because the only reason you got to film here,
the only reason I ask is because on IMDb, Hollywood Werewolf's the only film listed. So that's the only thing I can make reference to. So
what's that?
Yeah, the Internet Movie Database page. The only film you have listed is Hollywood Werewolf. So that's why I asked,
Oh, that might be because I have two accounts that have two pages.
Oh, do you?
I have two IMDb. Yeah, sorry. The original one I did have, which was one that you were probably looking at, only has that one at the time because that's when I started off with Hollywood. And then from there on, I moved on to other films and doing other projects, and I created another page with an actual profile image and a bunch of others. So that, which I use as my main page. So that's probably why that is that way, as you can see it.
Okay. Well, just a second. I'll bring it up here. But yeah, so you say you have a fitness DVD out?
I'm actually we're in the process of working on that. Actually right now working on getting that together through Direct Vision Productions and Deborah DeVoe, who is fitness. She actually does a lot of fitness DVD all in Hollywood, and her team is and people. We're all working together and working on that, and I'm hoping by possibly early mid next year, roughly, we're looking at that should be done.
Okay. Well, you just A minute here. I'm gonna bring this up here. Okay. Yeah, you're listed as cop number 1 in Velps. Okay, now I'm seeing your full page here.
You're like, there it is.
Yeah, that's got, okay. All right. Project Valentina, Hollywood Werewolf, Velp, Staycation. What's Staycation?
It's actually, I just got off the phone. A matter of fact, for our interview, it's a
Okay.
staycation is a it's actually it's like a pandemic film,
Mm-hmm.
and the director is Russell Emile, and Russell Samuel, and he does a great. He actually, we're working on that right now. That should be out sometime early next year. We're thinking, and it's a film based off of a pandemic time of a zombie outburst, and it's a pandemic of zombies and trying to survive the pandemic of the world and the nation falling apart due to a zombie outbreak. And that's going to be another great film. I play the role of Gary in that film, and we're actually right now currently in the process. We're working on that. It is still in pre-production, and that's going to be another great film. And I just got off the phone with the director of that film. Actually, a matter of fact, right before I got on this interview with you, and we're actually talking about possibly doing the LA Hollywood premiere party and getting the cast together and going out to LA to do the premiere and all that. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a great, phenomenal film.
It's interesting because I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, I have interviewed Kelly Maroney. Sean C. Phillips has been in touch with me
John
to,
Phillips. Yep.
yeah, he asked me to help out with one of his films. I'll have to look into it. Eileen Dietz, I've had on the show. Eileen was in The Exorcist. She was Pazuzu.
Yep.
Kelly Maroney was in Fast Times at Ridgemont
Fast
High,
Time. Yep.
Night at the Comet, and Chopping Mall. Oh, wow. This actually looks interesting. Yeah, I like Kelly. I've been in touch with her. And of course, Olivia Darabo was in this as well.
Olivia DeRobert. Yeah, from Star Trek. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. I never heard. Well, I heard the name Staycation. So is this a feature length?
Yeah, it's right now we're working on it to be at that point. It's about the script, which is why we're still in pre-production. It's honestly about 60 pages long right now, the script, and we're still working on it. Matter of fact, the script is still, I guess you can say, in modification mode. And but we are in the process of still finalizing and touching up and doing some modifications with the script itself. But as we speak, it probably more than likely will be at that point by the time we do the official filming and all the cast gets together and everything gets set and done.
Okay. All right. I'm just looking at that here. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we got some pretty good name stars. That's we like I said, the director Russell himself, he's a great man, and I'm working closely with them. I'm phenomenally happy. I'm thrilled to be a part of that film, and I got the Vulps. I got Project Valentina, Hollywood Werewolves, 14 Ghosts. Yeah, I got quite a little laundry list for myself growing.
It's funny you meant that about Kelly Maroney. I got some autographs in the mail from her, but she also sent a signed
Oh,
Chopping Mall. Yeah, yeah. She was doing these through her web page.
congrats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And she signed
Oh,
that.
nice. Right in
Yeah,
front, huh? That is beautiful. Love it.
yeah. Oh yeah, I love Kelly.
You're like top fan of the notch.
What's that?
You said the top fan of the notch chain, huh?
Um, I'm not sure I get that reference.
Just being one of our top fans of the chain, huh? Like bigger fans.
Oh, yeah, yep. I'm a huge fan of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and she's in that. So, well, I'm on Project
Wait,
Valentina
no, that was
here.
a good.
Yeah, Project Valentina. Let's look at some of the. Yeah, I don't recognize names from that either. Of course, that's nothing against them, you know. Sometimes your
Yeah.
best films are from people that are not familiar. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I just got the one. I did have two IMDb pages because James Balsamo screwed it up initially. So, yeah. So had to get that fixed up. Okay. All right. Yeah, Sandy Johnson is wonderful. I've had her on here a couple times, and I got some autographed pictures of her as well. She did. I'll tell you a story. She did the Doubtfire Face Challenge for suicide and depression awareness, and her husband was
Oh
dressed.
no.
Yeah, her husband was dressed up as Michael Myers for it. Yeah, it's a suicide. It's a suicide and depression awareness campaign. Um, where the person takes a pie in the face and they nominate three
I'm gonna have to
people.
pick on her now that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, she did one, and
I'm gonna have to pick on Sandy.
oh yeah. Well, Sandy did it, and she nominated Nick Castle, Felissa Rose, and PJ Souls. So I gotta try to get that out to them somehow. But yeah, but I've been trying to get the industry involved with that campaign. So yeah, but if you want to do
I'll
it,
definitely have to look into it. That's something I might.
well, if you know people in the industry, James Balsamo's done it. But
You're like, go right ahead.
yeah, James Balsamo's done it. If you know people in the industry that you think would do it, throw it out to them, you know?
Oh yeah,
But
most definitely. I'll have to look in.
yeah, do you have any special charities that you are involved with?
Um, right now, currently, the charities that I do occasionally do stuff with is it's the Kingswood program. I usually do. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with them or?
Nope, but you can explain it right here.
It's,
Give it a plug.
King, no, it's Kingswood Charity, which is it actually donates to kids and foster homes and
Okay.
kids that have no unfortunate academic or curriculum or schooling, and kids who have been through pretty much the local state, who've been through the state system of foster cares and group homes and pretty much are just trying to find their way through life and trying to get through schooling. So the money goes to helping better their lives, better their schooling, better their education. So Kingswood Charity is definitely one I've supported off and on throughout the years. And I've done a lot of like volunteer things, like as far as donating and charitable things. And I definitely like strongly urge and recommend people look them up. You get out there and you donate and do what you can to help out and support, because they're great, phenomenal people, and they do the best for the kids that are in need in this country and in this world.
Talk about, you said you had a DVD out of your fitness program. Talk about that and what your fitness program is about.
The DVD. Oh well, the DVD is not out yet. We're still working on the DVD.
Oh, okay. All
But
right.
yeah, yeah. No, the program is D. It's titled it's D's Extreme, and it
Okay.
stands for Derek's Extreme, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a program that involves a lot of weight, upper body strength training with a little bit of cardiovascular mixed in with some biometrics, some mixed martial arts, some karate. It's just a whole mix of a bunch of everything. And pretty much it's just going to get people down and dirty. It's basic workouts, but beyond the basic to an extreme level of hard duty, heart pounding, wrenching, and sweating that helps you see, wow, you can make workout fun, but
Mm-hmm.
you can do it to an extreme while having fun, while also gaining the success you should out of your workout, and also not falling into an unfortunate plateau effect in which your body can therefore not gain any success from the workout. So it's a design program that's meant to keep your body involved, keep the challenges, keep the extremity involved, but more importantly, keep the plateau effect not existent so your body can grow and adapt with the program itself.
Absolutely. So you do you really push yourself far with it?
Oh yeah, sometimes it depends on my days, honestly. Like I've been out of the gym. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been out of the gym for a couple months now. I actually, unfortunately, because my idiotness, I sustained an injury a few months back. I ended up in the hospital. Actually, I herniated my disc in my lower back. Yeah.
I've done that. Mine was in 2000. Here's my hernia story. My
Oh
dad,
no.
my dad had a hernia. It was in the groin area,
Oh.
and dad come back from a doctor's appointment, and he kind of told me about it, and I was like, I think I have that too. So I got a doctor's appointment, and sure enough, like father, like son, I had it as well. Now my
Guess
dad,
the apple didn't fall apart. No.
that was in 2000. My dad got the operation done. My mom drove him home, but for some weird reason, dad walked out of the hospital. I don't know how he did it.
You're like, somehow, but
Well,
you
I'll
did
tell
it,
you.
man.
Well, my dad, like I used to work at our family's spring water plant for 19 years. And dad would show up to work the next day, and we would all make sure he didn't lift anything, but dad would be almost passed out. But dad always felt he needed to be at work. My dad was a workaholic, but was like, Dad, we cannot let you lift these water bottles, you know, and but he was there and he was there. And yeah, my dad was wonderful. Like the winter times he would snowplow people, and he would never charge people. He was just, you know, uh,
For the
God,
general.
God bless him, God bless him. But I'll tell you, the day I had to go in and have it done, like dad was still having it affect him days after. Like I said, I don't know how he walked out of there because I sure as hell didn't. I went and I got it done.
Like, big commercial.
Oh man, my hernia story. I remember I was nervous because I'd never been under before. And so I
Mm.
remember the I remember the night before I watched the movie Kingpin with Woody Harrelson.
What a quick.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
watching that. I just wanted to watch somebody else take a real shit beating time, so I watched Woody Harrelson as Roy Munson. And then
You're like, I got this.
the following day, I went to get it done, and I remember the process. I remember when they were putting me under. I think the last thing I was talking about was Caddyshack and the Gopher. I remember I was talking about Bill
Oh, yeah.
Murray. Bill Murray, who of course is in Kingpin, and I remember the nurse saying, "Yeah, leave it to Bill Murray," blah 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 blah, and but
I know.
but I remember talking about the Mr. Gopher in Caddyshack, and I've got a Mr. Gopher here packed away somewhere. But next thing I know, I spring awake and I vomit. Not heavily, but vomit from the medication. And the operation
Ooh,
was done. There was a
yeah.
nurse sitting beside, and there's a nurse sitting by my bed. And I asked her like 3 times if I had thrown up. And I know she answered me, but it wasn't registering.
You're like,
And so I asked her like 3 times. Finally, that I looked down, and it was like iodine all, down here, and uh,
oh,
yeah, but nonetheless, I was feeling so out of it, um, like a mosquito could have had me for the 3 count, just by sitting on me. But
just keep
I'm
that triple E away. Huh?
yeah, I got wheeled out,
Oh,
and
wow.
my mom was there, and I asked for some juice, but mom was saying you should eat something, have some toast with some jam on it, and I had to force that down my throat. But I ate it, and I had the juice, And I was like,
Yeah.
I said, Mom, you're going to have to wheel me out. She said, Dad, walk to the car.
This is
I don't care. I'm not walking out. So Mom had to wheel me out, wheel me out in a wheelchair out to the car. I was
help me,
able.
mercy. No.
I got into the passenger side, and then Mom said she had to stop off at Shoppers Drug Mart or Lawton's Drug, one of the drugstores here, to get my prescriptions for my painkillers and stuff. And I remember when she got there, she said, "Do you want to come in?" I was like, "Are you kidding me?" No. All I remember, I was trying to sleep, but I was sore. I was nauseous. And finally, Mom comes out, and all the thing going through my head. And this was, I don't live in the house I grew up in anymore, but all I kept thinking was, my bedroom's the furthest from the door. How in the hell am I going to get from the car to my
How is this
bedroom?
gonna work? Yeah, exactly.
And that went through my head the whole time. I got there, and I remember just crashing in bed. I slept and I slept. I remember my younger brother peering in when he got home from work, asking
Yeah.
me how I was, and I managed to get up because I was taking some film classes at the time, and I wanted to be to go to class the next day. But I remember I get up and I stuck Boogie Nights in the Blu-ray player, or in the DVD player, I should say, at the time, and I watched Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to watch. I love that movie, and I always think of this when I watch Boogie Nights. It was just kind of nice to watch that ensemble movie. I watched that, and I was able to get up, and I was able to eat. And the following day, I mean, I took painkillers once. The following day, I went to take my film
Yeah.
literature class, and I was able to go to back to work. So Dad was kind of on the outs afterwards, despite walking out of there. Me, I was on the outs at the hospital, but I was kind of up and around doing my thing after that. So
Oh, there you go.
that's my hernia
Yeah.
story. Tell me about your hernia story.
That's
Did you
what I
have to
gotta
get?
say.
Did you walk out, or were you like me and have to be
Well,
wheeled?
that's the thing. I haven't. Well, that's the thing is I haven't even gotten to the point because I actually still gotta go see the surgeon because the specialist who I gotta go see. I've been honest to God, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been procrastinating. I've been like because I thought I'm like I love the gym. The gym is my life. I go there frequently, and I'm like I got this DVD I'm trying to work on, and I'm like dude, like if I go through this, this is going to set me back. I'm going to have to take time off. It's going to put a lot of strain and delays on it. And then I got the doctors telling me, well, you got to look out for your health and you can't be lifting too much heavy weight. I'm like, okay, yeah, I won't do that. And what happens? I go in the gym the next day. I'm trying to curl an 80, 95-pound dumbbell. And so I don't. So I'll be honest. I'm one of those gutsy people. I push my limits and I try to push the envelope as far as I can push it. And I think that's one thing with me throughout most of my life is I've been a risk taker and I try to push the envelope as far as I can, and that's and unfortunately, as you can see, not worked out in my benefit sometimes, but
Hmm.
sometimes but on this case, yeah, that's one thing I got to get around to doing. I got to actually follow up with them. That's still in the process right now.
Well, I'm good. Have you ever been under before?
Once.
Okay. You see, I was petrified when I got there, and I said my prayers first because well,
What's
I know well, God will see me through it. But you know
yeah.
what? It's funny because I remember when I woke up, and I think the when I vomited was from just the medication or whatever.
Anesthesia
Y-
maybe and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
it was, but it was like, am I all done? It was like it was nothing.
Yeah,
I,
honestly the one. the one time I was put under anesthesia, I remember just, it was for actually, they put me to sleep for, I think it was, I want to say I had an upper GI performance, or they did
Mm-hmm.
an upper, they went down my throat and all that, stomach to make sure I had no ulcers and all that. And I remember just the doctor, the nurse looking at me, she goes, okay, count back from 5. And I'm like, I remember just going, laying there on the bed, and 4, 3. At that point, all I remember is just feeling like, literally, like it was almost like the room started spinning. And I remember just like looking up and seeing like this, the white, the stuff there dripping into the tube. And I look at that. I remember just, the funny part is right before I clock out, I vaguely remember myself looking at the nurse going, what the F is wrong with me? I'm like, what the F is wrong? And then I just remember blacking. And then and it is like you said, it's almost like nothing ever happened, because the next thing you know, you got people standing over, oh, how you doing? And it's like, and it feels like you just fell asleep for 2 seconds. Honestly, you wake up
Yeah.
2 seconds, and it's like, wait, what? You guys did it that quick? Like, I was so like, how did this happen? You know?
Well, talk about diet. Like, what do you recommend food wise?
For diet, for proper, it all depends. Everyone's different.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the body, who you are, your medical issues, so it all varies on from person to person. But if you're just one of the, say, for example, you're just an average Joe looking to just put on the muscle mass, then your key goal is to gain. So the mass, and the mass gainer is where you want to go. So your best bet would be lots of protein, lots of protein supplement, including you're talking maybe 6 to 8 large meals a day with heavy duty amounts of. I know for some, I'm not saying start off the bat, for first time guy, you go there like, oh, I'm going to intake 8 large, all the, like, because obviously when I first did it, honestly, I'm going to tell you, it was a killer on my stomach for a little, but after a while, it takes time to get used to, but you slowly uptake in your meals and your quantity of your meals. And the key of it, I tell everyone, honestly, 75 to 85% of it's nutrition. It really, I see all these people, they go to the gym, and I've dealt with actually some of these, and I've talked to professional bodybuilders, even I spoke to a professional bodybuilder, former Mr. Olympia and bodybuilding champion. He's also a really well-known chef now.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to him, and I spoke to him on several occasions, and he's actually told me that the key to it, we've talked about bodybuilding. He goes, no, you're right on track. Being a former Olympian champion, I can tell you 80% of it, man, it's right in the nutrition. And you see, because a lot of it, you want to gain the muscle mass. Your muscles stimulate and growth off that protein. And pretty much
Mm-hmm.
to gain that protein involves you gaining in those meals. So the key is, a lot of it is in the meals you're taking, but I'm not saying go out and eat a large buffalo chicken sandwich, but watch what you're eating. But you don't have to watch necessarily, but just keep an eye on, for example, you're going out to a restaurant, say you go out to a taco, for example, just throwing this out there, hypothetically, you go out to a taco bell and you're
Mm-hmm.
at the drive, you're like, instead of ordering the crunchy taco, you want to get the power bowl, maybe with the rice, the chicken, the lettuce, because you're getting some carbs, you're getting your vegetables, but you're getting the chicken, which is low fat behind the protein. And that's what you need. So loading up with a lot of veggies, a lot of proteins, and a lot of carbonated meals during a high mass gaining work, the nutrition is where I recommend for the mass gaining. There's just a lot
Okay.
of high supplement, high protein building. If you're looking to lean out, which is obviously lose the fat, lose the muscle tone, if you don't want to be too bulky, the other thing you could go about the other route is just a lot of vegetables in your diet, a lot more fruit and veggie intake, some proteins, but not as much as you were to be if you're trying to mass gain. And really all it is, common principle, common factor, and common sense. It's just a matter of, okay, I'm going to gain a lot of muscle, so I'm going to start eating 7 to 8 meals a day with lots of protein, but they're going to be healthy meals, not, oh, well, I'm entitled to go eat a large pepperoni pizza. I'm not saying go get a bunch of processed junk, greasy bull crap, because that's what you're not going to get anywhere with that. The sodas, if you're a soda guy, try to get away from the soda. Uh, Low amounts of sugar. I would say definitely try to eliminate, if you're into alcohol, tobacco, things like that. You're a smoker, drinker. Eliminate those things, because those things will definitely defect your pulmonary, your lungs, everything in the gym. the blood flow, the oxygen flow. It's also bad for your heart health, not to mention it over time will cause you to set back more than gain. So definitely try to avoid the alcohol and the cigarettes. I know it's a hard thing for some, but try to. So, I mean, those would be my recommendations if you're trying to mass gain for muscle. Just at least try to fit in those 7 to 8 large meals a day. I know it sounds silly. People are like, oh, I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it. But I'm telling you, man, it makes all that difference because I guarantee you, I've done it with people I've actually worked out and trained with in the gym. You line up a bunch of guys who have done this, like they just go in there, they skip like 3 or 4 meals a day and they just go right to a gym and they've only eaten maybe half a breakfast. And they're like, oh, dude, I don't know what it is. I just don't have it in me. I feel weak. I'm normally not, I'm benching like 300 pounds. Today I'm only benching 130 if I'm lucky. And it's like, well, yeah, I can tell you what it is. Your body's not, you don't get the protein, you don't get the nutrients. You got to fuel your car. Your body's like a car and it needs that fuel. If you're not going to fuel it, you're not going to go anywhere. And that's just the common principle. It's all common sense. Honestly, it's not rocket science. And it's just a lot of people, unfortunately, like if you're stupid like me and you I mean, you got to be careful not overtake because you overtake too much, you can end up getting hurt. Like in my case, I had the hernia and hernia issue, or you got those. But you also got to watch out for with the nutrition side too in the gym. Lots of protein, great, but you also got to be careful of protein, what they call protein toxicity, which is can be effectful and harmful to the body. So if you're taking any advice, any form of nutrition supplement advice, even from me, if anyone watches this interview, watch the show, you go, oh, I'm going to listen to him and go eat 8 large meals and go drink some supplement protein shakes. I hope you take, I mean, granted, I look up to people who idolize what I have to do and say for the bodybuilding scenery. That's definitely phenomenal, fantastic. But I'd advise you before doing any of that, and especially any fans that may watch this, please follow up with your doctors first, follow up with your practitioner, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a practitioner, and I'm not licensed to give medical advice and say, hey, here you go do this, don't die doing it, because God forbid these people, they intake too much, they intake of something they're allergic to, they have their body may not be, everyone's different. So when it comes to weightlifting, the bodybuilding scenery, it all matters on what you're looking at doing and I guess who you are and what you're looking at doing for your body and what you're striving to do. And a lot of it, I tell my fans all the time, it's mental self-discipline, man. You just got to have that military-like self-discipline. Come on, I can do this. I know I got it. I came, I saw, I conquered, and you can just go a long way with that. Just to have it in you, have the confidence, and you'll get there. And you can't go anywhere, but future-wise, further with gains and success.
So I know you have a web page to plug on here, right?
What's that?
You have a web page to plug on here, right?
Yeah.
Let people know where they can get hold of you. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. It's you can go to www.thesextreme.com, which is my fitness page, or you can actually go to you can go to trainmelive.com. That's I do a lot of work for that. It's www.trainmelive.com, where you can connect through me through some live. I do every Monday nights. I've been doing the live bodybuilding podcast, but right now those haven't been happening because of my incident in the gym. But eventually we are going to be going back live to those. But you can catch me there live, and you can actually personally get through to me there live, or you can just look me up and on my Facebook or my fan page, which my fan page is Derek's fan page, and that's it. Just simply titled Derek's fan page. You can find me there, connect with me there as well, and we can definitely give you supplement nutrition tips and advice. And definitely, obviously, I'm a busy guy sometimes, so if I don't get back to you right away, don't take it personal. It's nothing against anyone. It's just I'm always here, there, and everywhere, running around. So I mean, I got a kind of a personal, busier lifestyle outside of the realm of fitness. So because besides the fitness, I got we've talked earlier, I got the movies going on. I got some of the work I'm doing with the LA entertainment industry. And then I got my kids, I got a family life. I got 3 beautiful children. So it's like trying to keep up with my kids, my family life, the entertainment realm, and then the fitness realm, like juggling a match of like, so, but yeah, I'll try to get back to anyone I can as soon as I can.
Well, you know what? I appreciate having you on here today, and finally we made it happen. And yeah, Hollywood Werewolf. We're both in that, and then of course you got
Oh yeah.
Velps, and you with Sandy Johnson, and you have um,
Project Valentina.
Project Valentina. Yeah. What is the one with Kelly Maroney now off the top?
Sorry, what?
The one that you're doing with Kelly
Oh,
Maroney.
Staycation.
Staycation. There you go. Okay. All right. We got those films to look forward to. Now, Staycation is not available yet, is it?
No, we're still in that's in mid pre-production stage right now, and thinking I just spoke to the director Russell himself, like it's right before we came on air for this interview. I spoke with
Okay.
Russell, and we were actually talking. He's thinking the time frame of the release, we're looking at possibly sometime by early or spring or mid spring of 2022 next year, honestly. So it's going to
Okay.
be kind of a little laid out, but we're thinking sometime by early next.
Well, you know what? That's fine because it take your time, make a good product, make a good film. Yeah. What about Project Valentino? Is that in the can yet, or is that being filmed now?
Almost. We're still actually, that is filming. We are now in the process. We are filming. The motions are in set place, and we actually should have that out a little later this, if not later this year, by early beginning of next year too as well.
Okay. Well, perfect. Well, we're both in Hollywood Werewolf, James Balsamo, and like I said, I don't know when it'll happen, but I'll be eventually be in a 10th James Balsamo movie. Knock on wood.
I
You?
know, right? You and I both. Maybe I'll be in my third coming up, hopefully soon. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, you might even surprise me, But yeah, I like these other avenues you have opening up. And it is interesting how you mentioned starting off in the garage, and it just elevates from there. And sometimes I can't believe it. So,
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's like I tell everyone, don't ever doubt yourself, man. Life, everything, anything you want to do in life, it's possible. I mean, take me for an example. I'm not the most prime example out there, but one of a good examples, like a troubled kid who used to do stupid things in school, would get into a little bit of hectic chaos, and didn't meet the grades, didn't meet the criteria. I was the bad guy always to the school, the principal, and I was this troubled class clown. To now mature grown man with a beautiful family and kids, working in the entertainment industry, got these films going on. I got my own fitness programs, including a future DVD in the makes. So I mean, if I can do it, it shows you anyone can do it. It's just a matter of mind over matter. Just you got to set your mind to something and work hard and strive. And as long as you do that, you can't fail, you can't go wrong, and life is just bring you amazing things.
before I let you go, I want to hear what was the worst thing you got sent to the principal's office for?
Sorry, what's that?
What was the worst thing you got sent to the principal's office for?
Oh boy, now you're putting me on the starter. No,
Or something
I,
that
I'm gonna plead the fifth. No. Your Honor, I object. I object to this madness stuff. Oh gosh, oh boy, I don't know where to begin. Oh boy, try to think. Well, do you want to start off with the which one? Oh boy, I've had lots. I'm trying to think. In all honesty, I'm trying to think which one. I would honestly have to say the worst. Oh God, I'm trying to think. The worst thing I've probably gotten called for the principal's office for, in all honesty, was probably um was probably trying to pull. I would say honestly, it was somewhere between trying to pull the fire alarm at school,
okay.
and the other one was probably trying to, I would say, at the time, sneak into the teacher's lounge and steal coffee. And that was the other one. And then there was another one. It was getting kicked out of in-school suspension. Those were some fun times. So yeah, I was quite the little demon, I would say, back in the day. Honestly, I was no beautiful angel. I'll give you that. But
Well, we can let you off with the coffee situation. If you're gonna sit there in class, you need a little caffeine in you.
yeah, I know, right? Well, it's funny
Yeah.
because I stuck in there. I opened up the lounge door. I was like, no one's looking. You know, I'm like, get through. I open up the refrigerator and I walk in. I'm like, ooh, coffee, and I'm like smelling the can. I'm like, oh, here's a pot, and I'm like stealing the pot, and then Mr. Webb, what are you doing? I'm like, uh, I think Miss B wanted a cup of coffee, so I was just making her a cup. Really? Yeah, and how many sugars did you want now? I'm like, I forget, honestly. He's like, come with us. And I'm like, okay. I get walked down to the principal's and, oh, so I heard you're at the teacher's lounge. I'm like, yeah, I wanted some coffee. And, well, that's only for staff, right? Yeah, I'm very well aware of that. Oh, well, that's not okay for you to be in there. So I'm going to, it's not a big deal, but let you off with a warning and catch you in there again, though. It's going to be a detention or after school detention or of some sort. So, but then getting kicked out of in school, that lead to a few out of school suspensions because in schools were the next step below out of school. And once you get kicked out of, if you can cause as much trouble as I did and get yourself thrown out of an in school suspension, there's a problem. But I mean, so at the point my principal looks at me and he goes, I remember going to the office right after I got kicked out of my in-school. Oh my God, I'd never seen someone's face turn so deep red. My principal, I thought I was going to get killed. To be honest, I'd never seen the guy look so red. His face is, he just looks at me and I can never, he goes, I just don't believe this. I sent you to in-school for learning a lesson and you're back here in my chair. He goes, what do you, he goes, how does this happen? I've never met any student in this school that's been to in-school get kicked out of in-school. I'm like, oh, it happens, I guess. I mean, he goes, yeah, very rarely, Mr. Webb. Like, okay. And he goes, hey, well, unfortunately, I hate to do this, buddy, but the next step is suspension. I'm gonna have to send you home. You're gonna have to go home and suspend. You're not welcome back here for a few days. You're suspended. And I'm like, are you serious? Well, yeah, because you can't. Obviously, you got suspended from in school because you can't get you can't get any worse than getting suspended from in school suspension. So I was a little troublemaker. I was a goofball back in school, but
That was
ultimately,
that was your staycation.
exactly that it was. It really was. My staycation was in school suspension and causing chaos and carnage. And talk about a pandemic. That was a pandemic. Me being there alone was a pandemic. But no, I had lots of fun though. I enjoyed it, and but unfortunately, not enjoyed it per se, but like it was good times. Me and my friends causing chaos back in the day when I was young and stupid and naive. But I look back on it, and I feel bad because honestly, if I sit back and I think about it, I'm like, the time I spent devoting myself to being such a clown. If I just took half of that energy, what could have happened to me a lot earlier on in life if I would have devoted that maybe to a lot better things sooner. So I'm not too happy for what I did back in the day, in all honesty. But at the same sense, I got to look on it as like, hey, it was in the past. We're all adults now. We all grew up, and things happen, and I'm doing better for myself. I'm doing bigger and better things now, and just look on it and just share a laugh now. Look on it and get a good laugh.
Yeah.
It's not all,
does your principal go to the gym?
oh God, not yet. It's funny though because it's funny though that you said that because the same principal that I did have that I had the run-ins with back in school, he was my former vice principal.
Mm-hmm.
It was going back to related to my hernia. When I went to the hospital to follow up for that, I walk in the front door and he's retired now. He doesn't work. He's retired and he works actually at the hospital as a valet parking specialist. So I get to the hospital and he's at the front door and I'm like, I walk by him and I'm like, I want to say that's my principal, but I can't tell. I'm looking. I'm like, the face looks so familiar. I'm just looking and looking, looking. I didn't know what to make of it though, and I was like, how do I approach this guy? And like, because I was like, this was years down the road we're talking, and I hadn't seen the almost 10 to 15 years. I'm like, but this looks just like him. And I walk up to him. I'm like, hey, are you such and such? And yeah, that's me. Who are you? And I'm like, you remember Derek Webb? And he looks instantly, oh my God. And you talk about if the face turned beet red. He look, he goes, oh my God. He goes, how could I not forget you, Mr. Webb? And I'm like, I know, right? And he goes, where do I begin with you? And I'm like, and he goes, you were definitely quite the time to have. And I was like, we were joking. And the funny part is we were talking, we were shooting the crap, just shooting the shit, talking and having a good time. And he turns around and goes, honestly, half of what you did back in school, he goes, I only remember bits and pieces. It was so long ago. I remember parts of things, but not everything. And he goes, and I deep down, he goes, I knew you were a great kid. I knew you were just going through a rough patch, and I think you meant well, but it was just you're going through some rough times, like all of us. And we worked it out. We talked it, but I can honestly tell you, man, looks could kill. As soon as I said who I was and introduced myself, his mouth just and a face lit up like a bread crisp. It was bad. But yeah, no, he's a great guy. For being the principal he was, I gotta say though, in fairness to the school district I was attending, in fairness to the principal, he was the kind of guy that I can honestly tell you that I'm very lucky. I'm thankful that he was my principal, because if it was any other normal, really to the book, to the T, strict kind of principal, this guy probably would have had my butt to the stern. I can tell you that. I would not be here to probably be talking to.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Because this guy was pretty lenient, and he did give me a lot of offer. He saw something in me, which is nice. He, unlike most of the other staff members and the teachers who just wrote me off as a trouble kid and said, oh, he kicked him out. He's a troubled student. He doesn't care. He doesn't mean anything. He tried to see me halfway. And I saw that in him, because every time I went to the office, he was like, well, I'm seeing here the recommendation for punishment by the head principal is they want me to actually suspend you for 10 days, or they want me to expel you. I mean, they actually even went as far as expulsion came up a few times. But he looked right at me and said, but you know something, Mr. Webb, just between you and I'm not going to do that, because he goes, I see something in you that other people don't. You have potential. And I'm not about to throw it all away on a bunch of stupidity. And so, come on, man, work it out. Work with me here. Just be smart, do the right thing, make better choices. So my hat's off to him. I love the guy. Up to this day, if it wasn't for that man, honestly, he helped me out quite a bit, because I honestly, I don't know where I'd be if he didn't let me get off the hook with some of what I did. So.
And you did. You connected with James Balsamo, and something tells me James must have been in the principal's office a few times. I'm just assuming. I don't know, but I'm just going to take a guess.
I don't know either. I don't know, James. I'm gonna take a guess and say he was, but James is gonna watch this now, like, you son of a bitch. No. But
I don't know. He strikes me as the kind of guy who's been in the office a few times.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure Mr. Balsam. I'm gonna have to ask him after this, and be like, by the way, I heard about novel. But yeah, no, I'm sure he has. Him and Andy Dick, I'm sure even Andy Dick, he had to have been.
But not Kelly Maroney.
No,
Kelly Maroney was an
really
angel. Kelly Maroney was an angel. I'm pretty sure she wasn't.
Oh no.
She's just.
Oh yeah, she had she was one of those honors. She was one of the. Yeah, exactly. It just had the top bombs and everything.
And Sandy Johnson, never in the principal's office. I'm giving those two ladies a rite of passage. They've never been in the office.
They never had the blue chair. Stay safe,
Well, Derek, you got anything else you want to plug on here before we close off?
Honestly, no, I mean, I just gotta say, thank you for having me on, and
Mm-hmm.
thank your fans and your viewers. It was a great pleasure, and it's a great honor to be a part of your show and your network. And I must say thank you to everyone who's took the time out to watch and watch the show. Great show, great performance, and I loved having to be working with you today on today's show. It's been phenomenal.
Well, we'll keep in touch, and next year, if you've got more projects on the go, I'll reach out to you again, have you back.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Thank you very much. Same here. You definitely keep in contact, and we'll definitely be in touch with communication.
All right. Well, you have yourself a wonderful day. Stay fit and don't overdo it. And stay out of the
Oh
principal's
yeah, try
office.
to. Oh, I'll try to. As long as I can stay away from Judith Myers' brother there, Sandy Johnson's brother Michael, and if me and Michael get together, we'll be in the office or someone.
Well, I'm pretty.
He'll be still standing, but I'll be walking out in the body bag. That's
Well, you remember that
what's that?
song? You remember that song, that rap song? I forget who sang it. It was called Principal's Office. You don't know that one?
Trying to
Just a
not
second.
off the top. I don't. I honestly.
I'm gonna see if I can find it here. Because that is.
Now.
I'm gonna see if I can find out who sang that. Ah, Young MC. Young MC sang a song called Principal's Office.
Oh, I
Yeah,
think I know what you're talking. Young MC. Now I know who you're talking.
that's your song. That is your theme song.
I'll have to, if I ever make it as far as the WWE someday, I'll have to ask if that could be my themes from my state. All the wrestlers, they have that theme song. I'll have to come out to that. That'll be awesome, huh?
You watch wrestling?
Gosh. From time to time, not much. I used to watch it a lot back in the day. Honestly, I kind of gave up when a lot of the good wrestlers I grew up watching. My era was, I watched The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kane, The Rock, Dwayne The Rock. Those are my era of wrestlers growing up. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and now you got all these brand new faces.
I'm not a fan of Shawn Michaels or Triple H. Shawn Michaels, the way he treated our Canadian flag, he rubbed it on his crotch, he spit on it, he blew his nose on it, and stomped on it. And this was before the Montreal screw job.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was disgusting. I'd never liked him since.
I honestly had not been aware of that. I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yep, never liked him since. And Triple H, as far as I'm concerned, I think we know how he got ahead in the company.
Yeah. I know. I think you and I both are right. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little easy when you have the daughter in your back pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think. I think there were definitely some. I don't think pro wrestling. I don't watch much of it anymore because honestly, the guys who were the guys that I really were big fans of, like Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I watched them, but I wasn't really fans of them per se. The ones that I was actually fans of, in my honest, the ones I loved were Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker. I watched both of them, and both of them were.
You just give me a second. Stay right there.
All right.
I got a big bag of LGN wrestlers. I'm not going to show them all off, but they were the rubber ones back from the 80s.
Oh, okay. Nice.
This, to me, was a champion. That is the living legend, Bruno San Martino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bruno, to me, I don't think they've had a better champion than Bruno.
Oh, Bruno was an awesome wrestler. He was a good guy.
Yep. Let me see who else I have in here. Terry Funk. Nobody was more
Terry Funk,
hardcore.
oh yeah.
No.
Terry was classic. Terry Funk, gosh, that guy was awesome.
Yep. Terry is where Mick Foley learned it all from, and I'll tell you.
Foley had it all.
Yep.
Mankind, McFoley, all that. Yeah.
Yep. I got him. Let me see. Who else have I got here that I can show you? One of my favorites, Roddy Piper.
Rowdy Piper. Oh man, he is the man. I love Rowdy. He was the guy.
I've had his daughter on here 3 times.
Really?
Ariel. Yep. Yep. Teal Piper. Yep. So big Piper fan.
Nice.
Jake the Snake Roberts was somebody I loved growing up.
Yeah, Jake the Snake. He was definitely. That's when wrestling was wrestling. Honestly, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Like back in the day, I remember. I mean, even before I was born, I remember growing into the age of like, you had Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, you had Jake the Snake Roberts, you had all these phenomenal
Here's Andre.
wrestlers, and you had Rowdy Piper, Andre. Yeah, he looks a little smaller from here, but.
Yeah, that's when he had longer hair. WrestleMania 1, where he body slammed Big John Studd in that big slam match. Yep. Yeah. I got him and the Iron Sheik. With those
that was a classic.
Yeah, the Iron Sheik. He's one I got in here. I've got a ton of them in here. Let me see. I got another one here I want to pull up too that I have great respect for. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, nice.
WrestleMania 3 had one of the all-time great matches, him and Randy Savage.
Savage, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a phenomenal match at WrestleMania. I would say that was a classic that definitely takes the books.
Yep. Steamboat was always
but that's
great
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's when wrestling was wrestling. Honestly, to me, that's when wrestling was wrestling. Now all it is all these little. You see all these like little. I'm not trying to make fun of anyone, but you got all these like little young. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to degrade any of the current athletes we have out there now, but like you got all these like small, skinny, frail guys, or you got these guys that are trying to be all beef and macho man in the ring now that are just putting on. It's almost like a high school soap opera, like he said, she said, and it's like, come on, man, whatever happened to like Randy, Savage,
Paul Orndorff.
Yeah.
Yep. That was Roddy Piper's partner at WrestleMania 1 when they took on Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. And speaking of, ooh yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah. I got a Macho Man here. Yeah. So yeah, these were all pre-posed, but you could throw these down a flight of stairs and it wouldn't hurt them at all. I miss these. I got a bunch of these at like Toronto Comic Con and some of them from flea market, and I just grabbed them up because these were great toys back in the day. So yeah, I got a bunch of these. Toronto Comic Con. I was at 3 Horror-Ramas and I was at Toronto Comic Con. I got George the Animal Steel.
Well, there you go. See, there's another one.
Yeah, like these were characters, and they like this guy played his part so well. I believed it, And then there's guys I have that I would say are almost all but forgotten. Like, well, like Outback Jack.
Oh no. Yeah,
Outback.
he vanished somewhere far, but we're still looking though.
Well, if I can find him, I'll get him on the show. The only wrestling related interviews, I've done, I've had Piper's son and daughter on. I've had her on as a solo, and I had her on recently with Demos. And I've had
Nice.
Princess Victoria on as well, who retired in 1984. And I'll tell you, she didn't like Vince.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh boy, that bad, huh?
yeah. She
I don't
didn't.
blame. I mean, I can see. That's the thing. I've heard a lot about Vince. I heard he was quite the guy behind closed doors. I heard a lot that he was not the businessman as he was made out to be on TV. He was. I've heard some stories from some people that he was a whole other character behind closed doors.
Well, like Shawn Michaels, he's never won a fight outside wrestling. So
Exactly. Besides the ring, so who's to say? And
yeah,
that was probably half of it for all we know. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like,
yeah,
how much did you pay to get that one? You know. But
yeah. So I'm not big on the product of what's going on with it now, but
oh, me neither. I don't even keep up with it now, to be honest with you. The way they're doing it now, it's like back in the day, if you would have asked me, oh, would you want to be a WWF or a WWE superstar? I would have said, yeah, I would have loved to have my name out there with Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Andre the Giant. Like, who that would be an awesome to be working with those guys in the same ring.
mhm.
But now you look at it now, what it is today, it's like, I mean, it's not worth it. It's almost kind of like, what's the sense? You're damaging and breaking your body for a bunch of high school drama, pretty much. It's just like a high school musical role now. It's not even like what it used to be anymore.
No, no, it's not. Although I do like Edge. I know they brought him back. I like him.
Edge
Yeah,
was a good guy
yeah.
back in the day. I remember
And
Edge, and I remember his tag team.
Christian. Yep, they were a great tag team. But yeah, yeah. I got a big bag of those. Can't show them all to you right now, but yeah, I have a big bag of all these wrestlers in here. So all kinds of them, all kinds of them. Actually, I Greg the Hammer Valentine. Yeah, these were great. Like I said, I think kids today would probably not like these because you can't articulate them, but I kind of like that about them.
Yeah, they had their own little personal supplemental value to them and their own dignity, their own personality, pretty much.
Yep, yeah, I like those. I got a lot of them, probably most of them, and still more to come. I've got other ones in here too. I got Junkyard Dog in there somewhere. I've got King Kong Bundy is in there. I've got a bunch of them. So many to name.
There you go.
Yeah,
So many we can't go.
yep, a lot. But it was great having you on here today. And like I said, next year, when you got even more projects under your belt, I'll reach out to you again. And
All right.
yep, and have you back.
Oh yeah, definitely love to be back. Maybe who knows? Maybe even later this year, if we got more going on and a lot more stuff starts lighting up. Who knows? Maybe by the end of this year, or maybe sooner than next year. It would definitely be an honor to come back to that. That's for sure. I loved it. I had a good time, and I seemed to enjoy it. And I love talking to you.
All right. Well, you have yourself a good day. Keep yourself in shape, but don't overdo it.
Oh, that's for sure. I'll try not.
And stay out of the principal's office.
Yeah, I know, right?
You have a good day. You take care of yourself.
Fabulous, man. You have a great day. It was nice having me on. It was nice going talking to you, man.
Yep, no problem. You take care.
You too.
Yep. Yep, bye.
Bye.